It's the Nuka-Cola Lounge, presented by the Triple S League.
Well, they're only human. Made by humans.
Hello, everybody. Welcome. My name is Ash. I'm taking a break from binge-watching The Walking Dead to bring you another Nuka-Cola Lounge where we talk about all things Fallout. And I'm here, as always, with S.P.E.C.I.A.L. How you doing, S.P.E.C.I.A.L? How is that ghoulification going?
Pretty good. I'm doing a little better. Been choking down my Rad-X and my Rad-Away, so it's been getting a little bit better, slowly but surely. I do have a joke for you.
Okay.
Hey, Maeve.
Maeve is there?
Yeah, he's helping me out a little bit today.
That guy owes me like $50.
Really?
And a package of Skittles.
Do you know how many ghouls it takes to change a light bulb?
They don't need to. They just huddle around the glowing one.
Taking $5 off what he owes me for that.
Okay.
That was good. But I still want the Skittles.
All right.
And that ball gag. Never mind. No, sorry, that wasn't you who borrowed that.
That wasn't me.
Skittles are mine.
I'm not asking. Not going there.
We still have that mole rat infestation.
You want me to come over with my spiked board?
No, not yet.
Are they still cute, or are they like at the point where you're okay with?
They're so adorable right now. We'll put up a picture of our little mole rats.
So we're gonna have to wait till they turn ugly.
Or feral, you know.
So how long is that gonna take? I don't know what. I didn't pay nearly enough attention in irradiated mammals development class.
You know what? I think you're gonna have a hard time with that because their charisma level is off the chain.
Speaking of segues...
Hey, you see the charisma video?
Yes, I saw it. Of course I saw it. How could you even ask that, S.P.E.C.I.A.L?
Just wondering.
So yeah, I really liked the charisma video because there was no cannibalism in it. And it was all about making friends, which I suppose is one way to get people to lower their guard to make it easier to eat them. But there's other uses for it too.
Yeah.
Like not getting your eye stabbed out with a fork.
Yep, that's always good. It showcases the importance of not trusting everybody that you immediately meet because sometimes somebody really just wants your spleen.
I wonder how the relationships system is going to work in this.
That does bring in an interesting question as to whether or not the charisma will directly affect some of the relationships that you can have with your followers. So, for example, do your followers need you to have a higher charisma level to get them to do interesting and or weird things? Fallout is always a treasure trove of weird things, and I'm wondering how many things are going to be reliant on your certain level of charisma when interacting with them.
Now, when you say weird things, do you mean things involving like a super mutant and a ball gag, or are you just talking about like getting them to venture to weird places and try weird foods?
A little bit of both, actually. I think we'll see both of those things. Maybe certain companions will be harder to romance depending on your charisma level.
Mm-hmm.
That might play into it a little bit.
I wonder also, will it be advanced enough that you can potentially turn enemies into friends, or, you know, would it have advanced relationship dynamics like that, or is it still going to be very faction-based where there's certain people who, no matter what, they will just try to kill you?
In Fallout New Vegas, we have the ability to play a more peaceable role and to actually do non-combat playthroughs. That probably has impacted the direction that they want to go in. Also, in Skyrim and Skyrim mods, the popular mods of Skyrim, there's a lot of mods that affect your ability to come up with another alternative other than just killing people. There's a lot of mods that you can actually like haggle with people or talk to bandits and, you know, maybe, you know, make deals with them or other things like that. So those really popular mods are what the developers have looked at and said, you know, we want to integrate this thing, like the home and base building thing really became popular on the modder side of things, so they've added that in.
Well, that's fantastic that they're looking at what users are building and saying, hey, this is what the users want.
Hey, Maeve, how many lives does Schrodinger's cat have in the wasteland?
18 half-lives.
Let's segue onto the perk chart, shall we?
Yeah, so we're going to go through the Fallout 4 perks chart here, and we've got a lot of ground to cover, so we're just going to go very quickly through each one. Now, some of them, we have the perk name confirmed, and in some cases, what it does. But for some of them, we've had to speculate and theorize.
Give us your comments, let us know what you think, And then, of course, if you're listening to this after the fact and we're dead wrong, feel free to laugh at us and scorn us and shame us like Game of Thrones.
We'll put links to a high-resolution version of the perk chart in the description so you can follow along, because we'll be talking about the icon for each one as well. The little Vault Boy drawings. By the way, just to recap, there are 10 perks per special stat, and it's arranged in such a way that the perks correspond to the number of points that you have in that stat. So if you have a strength level of 6, you can use any of the first 6 of the strength perks, and it goes up from there. If you want to use 7, 8, 9, or 10, then you have to have that many points in your strength stat. But we'll start with strength. Number 1, Iron Fist.
This one's a very standard perk. Unarmed damage, and I suspect stock strikes slash pistol whip damage. And I think we'll also see advanced melee abilities. Those were a big hit in New Vegas, and they were also a big hit in Fallout 2 in comparison to Fallout 1. In Fallout 2, you could learn like really specialized hits and haymakers and all kinds of things.
Strength perk number 2, it's called Big Leagues. This is another fairly standard one.
Yeah, this just increases melee damage with melee weapons, which is why we know that Iron Fist is more than just normal melee damage.
Exactly. So number 3 is Unlabeled.
This one definitely armor crafting. This is definitely, increased recipes and strengthening armors. Also number 4 is weapons. So
yeah, in case you're wondering, we're basing that on the diagrams on the perks chart here.
Making your armors and your weapons better. This makes total sense. Having that in those low levels and easily accessible definitely makes a lot of sense. Well, you wouldn't have put it at 8, 9, and 10 because that locks out a lot of people's play styles. Having it at 3 and 4 makes perfect sense.
Another one where we're going exclusively off the diagram is Strength 5, which... Do you want to take this one? We have separate theories on what this one is. Saib, how about you? Go first.
I strongly suspect that this is going to be being able to control burst fire and or using big heavy guns without the use of power armor.
And I have a different theory. I mean, looking at this diagram, this is clearly a perk that lets you use the gigantic penis gun.
No, it doesn't make sense. Giant penis gun locks out all of the female characters.
Hey, it's the 2000s. A woman can use a giant penis gun.
Yeah, I guess.
So anyway,
moving.
If you're wondering what the hell we're talking about, go look at the chart. I just find it funny that whoever came up with that drawing, that nobody tapped them on the shoulder and said, you want to take another crack at that?
Yeah, they definitely could have drawn that from a slightly different angle.
Okay, number 6, Strong Back. This one's very standard. Increases the amount of stuff that you're able to carry without getting weighed down.
Number 7, Weapon Handling. Now, we've seen weapon handling in a lot of the games before, and we think this is probably going to be pretty close to the same, but probably significantly tweaked. I don't think it's just going to increase strength levels for weapon usage because the game is kind of designed to max out all your stats eventually. So it would be kind of a useless perk if you maxed out your strength to 10. So I think this one will have something new and slightly different to it.
Mm-hmm. Okay. Number 8's another one which is unlabeled and we don't have a full description for it. It's a picture of the Vault Boy holding up a rifle, not in a firing position, but just kind of like he's showing it off kind of thing.
Could be affecting reload time. We're not 100% positive at this point. Number 9, though, I can guarantee you what this one's going to be.
Yeah?
This one is going to be harder to be knocked down or stunned when you're using melee weapons.
Mm-hmm. You heard it. Saib is calling it, so prepare your nasty jabs and yo mama jokes.
Yep, that definitely makes melee weapons way more viable in the end game. Absolutely, hands down. Number 10, this one definitely is going to be power armored melee attacks. I'm also going to guarantee you guys this one. This is going to have to do with making your power armor even more impressive when you're just using your power armor Iron Man style. Walking in and punching people in the face or punching people's faces off of their face. Definitely something that I think we'll see.
You should have seen it, Jerry. He just punched the guy's face off of his face because there was another face underneath his face. And then he punched off that face.
And then he took his skull out of his head and beat him to death with it. That doesn't seem physically possible.
That's just what he said. This doesn't seem physically possible. Rooster Teeth.
Rooster Teeth.
We love you guys.
Perception.
First one's obviously lockpicking, pickpocketing, all of those sort of thief or rogue style abilities.
Rifleman has been confirmed.
That's number 2. That's increased damage with non-automatic rifles.
Yeah. This number 3 one, though, this is an interesting one. Probably has to do with increased accuracy during the use of VATS. You only need 3 perception for it. Probably something that a lot of people will take fairly early on because VATS is so very, very useful.
I'll be taking a lot of perception ones for my playstyle. Number 4 has, again, something to do with lockpicking.
Yeah.
But it is unclear exactly what. He's like holding the lock up triumphantly, and yeah, we'll just have to wait for more information.
This next one, though, demolition expert, mines, grenades, launchers, fat mans, all of these things are going to perform better. Friend of the night, number 6, definitely going to cater to all those people who love playing in the dark.
Yep.
This next one, though,
I know what it is. It's a wavy chest laser.
So
you can just go and like kill everybody with that. Actually, this one is probably radiation absorption, which makes your radiation levels decrease over time. Why it's under the perception tree and not endurance is beyond us. I realize there's only so many slots they can fill, but perception seems like a weird fit for this one. Anyway, it is what it is. Number 8, sniper.
Overall, this is just going to increase your overall sniping performance with the possibility of better VATs or better criticals. Now this next one, we're so excited for this one. This one's a long time coming. Shooting through a wall makes so much sense. You know, when you're in Fallout 3 and you're running up to an old building that's got like a little bit of a plaster wall left, and you're putting bullet after bullet into those 2x2 inch boards, and they're stopping your 50 caliber. That's not fun for immersion.
And this points to destructible environments as well, which is excellent. I mean, I can't count the number of times I've been peeking over the edge of like a wooden desk or something and line up my shot, use VATS.
And then the lamp on the desk.
Well, even just like the edge of the desk or the wall that I'm hiding behind. The bullet hits that and doesn't go anywhere, so I'm just shooting at this edge of something. I'd be very happy if there's no more of that nonsense in Fallout 4.
Definitely something that's been improved.
Number 10.
Concentrated fire. Basically tightening up spread fire. This is number 10, so obviously it's going to be really, really good.
We suspect it's going to do something more than it's done in previous Fallout games because it is so high on the tree and it requires 10 perception. It's going to do a little more than giving you, a little boost in VATS every time you target the same limb multiple times. Moving on to endurance. First one, toughness, damage resistance.
Good basic one. Everybody wants this at level 1.
Yeah, absolutely. And then second one, another standard. Lead belly, take less radiation when you're drinking from an irradiated water source. The next one, life giver.
A little bit more life, standard trait. It's been in most of the games.
Number 4, under endurance, chem resistant.
Less addiction chance. I think this one's probably had 1 or 2 additional ones rolled into it. Maybe improving the use of either chems or stim packs or possibly even alcohol. Getting a little bit more out of them at maybe a little bit of a trade-off.
Number 5, under endurance.
In one of our first videos, we really talked about how the sea in Boston is really going to play into this game, and that we are going to have a lot more content as far as the ocean and the water.
Underwater exploration and sea creatures, that kind of thing.
Underwater exploration, underwater combat. Looking at this one, we're going to see this effect being underwater, better swimming, greater ability to hold your breath, that kind of stuff.
Mm-hmm. And if you haven't heard our theories on that, that's episode 2 of the Nuka-Cola Lounge. Will there be pirates?
Yep. Number 6, rad resistance. This one I think going to be really, really straightforward.
This one's a standard in Fallout as well. as is the next one, number 7, adamantium skeleton.
Decrease damage to limbs.
Now number 8, something that was featured heavily in the endurance video.
I was very surprised that cannibalism is taking such a... You're actually going to be forced to interact with it in a much more direct way than you have in the previous games.
Yep. If you're forced to pick a perk at every level, then eventually you'll have to take this one. And which isn't to say that you necessarily have to use it. I mean, I suppose it's just saying...
But at the same time, you know, you're going to be in a firefight at some point, and you're running around on the battlefield, and you go to loot some ammo, and you accidentally end up, you know, munching on a guy's arm. And then your companion is sitting there looking at you going, dude, really?
What are you doing?
What the hell are you doing? I don't understand why this was put in. Like I said, very shocked that they're kind of forcing it into our face like this. So this next one, I have got nothing for you guys on this one. I don't even know where to begin.
Yeah, I got nothing. It's just, I don't know. I don't have a clue.
The next one, though, we were definitely expecting this one.
Number 10.
And the fact that it is so high on the list leads me to believe that it's going to be a lot better than it has been in the past. And I think that we'll even see, like, health regen if you pick this one, just sitting out in the sunlight. Which means that this is really going to become the most important perk for those people who like to play in bikini armor. The more...
We finally have a justifiable reason for someone to wear bikini armor.
Yeah.
Expose more of your skin to the sun, and it heals you up. And maybe for getting a nice tan, you know, when you're not fighting raiders and mutants. Even wastelanders need a day off now and then.
Yeah.
So that covers the strength, perception, and endurance perks. It's taking longer than expected to get through all of these, so we're going to be turning this into a two-parter and picking this up in another episode, which we'll release sometime in the next few days. Thank you so much for listening. We want to hear from you. As always, drop some comments down below or tweet at us your opinions, your thoughts, your insights. If you think you know what some of these mystery ones are that we haven't been able to figure out, we want to hear about that. Let us know what you think. As always, on behalf of S.P.E.C.I.A.L, my name is Ash. Thanks so much for listening to this episode of the Nuka-Cola Lounge. I almost forgot. Maeve, do you have any closing thoughts?
Your mom is so ugly, when she fell into a vat of FEV, she came out looking exactly the same.
Oh, that's just mean.
Don't you talk about my mama.
I don't appreciate that sort of joke.